It was late on a Sunday evening when Ethan's world quietly began to fall apart. He had been married to Claire for 11 years, a marriage that had weathered countless storms, financial struggles, the sleepless nights of raising their son, and the aching absence of affection that sometimes crept into long relationships. Yet through all of it, Ethan believed, perhaps naively, that their bond was unbreakable. He had just finished putting their son, Noah, to bed when Claire's phone buzzed on the kitchen counter. Normally, Ethan wouldn't have paid it any attention. They trusted each other, or at least he thought they did. But this time, the screen lit up with a name he didn't recognize, and a preview of the message froze him in place. "I miss you already. Can't wait for tomorrow." His chest tightened, and for a moment, he convinced himself there had to be a reasonable explanation. Ethan picked up the phone with trembling hands, his heart racing, as if he were about to uncover a secret he was never meant to know. The conversation thread was filled with messages, soft, affectionate words Claire hadn't spoken to him in years. Pet names, confessions of love, and plans made in secret. There were even pictures of them together, taken in places Ethan had thought she'd been shopping, visiting friends, or working late. Every line he read cut deeper than the last, and soon he had to set the phone down, his vision blurring with tears. Claire returned to the kitchen minutes later, smiling casually as though everything was normal. Ethan studied her face, wondering how many lies could hide behind such familiar eyes. "You okay?" she asked when she noticed the stiffness in his posture. He only nodded, unable to form words, his throat burning with the weight of betrayal. That night, Ethan lay awake next to her, staring at the ceiling while she slept peacefully. He thought of the years he had given her, the sacrifices he had made, the loyalty he had never once questioned. The hurt was unbearable, but worse was the dawning realization that the woman lying beside him was already halfway gone. Her heart, her passion, her loyalty given to someone else. The next day, he decided to confront her. He waited until Noah was at school so that no innocent ears would hear the storm he was about to unleash. Claire sat across from him at the dining table, sipping her coffee, unaware that her double life was about to collapse. Ethan slid the phone across to her, the messages open and glowing like a spotlight on her betrayal. Her face drained of color. She opened her mouth, closed it again, then tried to force words through lips that trembled. "It's not what you think," she whispered, but even she didn't seem to believe it. "Not what I think." Ethan's voice was raw, breaking under the weight of suppressed rage. "You're telling another man you love him. You're sneaking around behind my back. How long, Claire? How long have you been lying to me?" Tears welled in her eyes, and for a moment she looked like the woman he once adored, the woman who had promised him forever. But forever had clearly expired. She admitted, haltingly, that it had been going on for nearly a year. A year of deception, a year of stolen moments, a year of Ethan unknowingly sharing his wife with another man. He felt sick. Every memory of the past 12 months twisted in his mind. The night she claimed to be working late, the weekend she said she needed time with friends, the sudden distance in her affection. He had ignored the signs, trusting her word because trust was the foundation of their marriage. Now that foundation lay in ruins. Ethan didn't shout. He didn't slam his fist against the table or hurl accusations into the air. The pain ran deeper than anger. It was quieter, heavier, like a wound that bled inward. "Why?" he asked simply, and it was that question that broke her. Claire sobbed, saying she felt unseen, unloved, trapped in a life that had lost its spark. She told him the affair made her feel alive again, desired, wanted. She begged him to understand, to see that she never meant to hurt him, even as she shattered him piece by piece. Her words were knives dressed as apologies. Ethan sat in silence, listening, but no justification could mend the betrayal. The woman he thought he knew, the marriage he believed in, the life they had built, all of it now felt like a beautiful lie. When Noah came home from school, Ethan forced himself to smile, to pretend that nothing was wrong. But inside, he knew everything had changed. The house no longer felt like home. It felt like a stage where his wife performed the role of mother and partner while secretly belonging to another man. In the weeks that followed, Ethan wrestled with choices no one ever wants to face. Divorce seemed inevitable, but the thought of breaking his son's world apart kept him frozen. Claire pleaded for forgiveness, promising to end the affair and rebuild their marriage. But forgiveness is not a door that opens easily once trust has been burned to ash. Every time Ethan looked at her, he saw the messages, the lies, the other man's shadow hovering between them. One evening, Ethan found himself walking alone to the park, the cool air biting his skin as he replayed everything in his mind. He realized that betrayal doesn't just destroy love, it erodes identity. He had built his life around Claire, around their family, and now he was forced to confront the question of who he was without her. In the end, Ethan chose himself. He filed for divorce, not out of spite or vengeance, but because he refused to live in the ruins of a marriage that no longer existed. It was the hardest decision he had ever made, but also the only one that allowed him to reclaim his dignity. Claire wept when he told her, begged him to reconsider, but the damage was irreversible. Trust, once broken, doesn't grow back. It becomes a scar, a reminder of what was lost. Years later, Ethan would look back and still feel the sting of betrayal, but he would also see the strength that had forced him to find. He had survived the unraveling of a love he once thought unbreakable, and though it nearly destroyed him, it also set him free. And Claire, for all her tears and regrets, could never undo the night her secrets came to light, the night Ethan discovered that sometimes the cruelest betrayals come not from enemies, but from the person who once promised to love you most. On the day the divorce papers were signed, Ethan walked out of the courthouse feeling both hollow and strangely lighter. The air outside smelled of rain, fresh and cleansing, as if the world itself knew he had closed a chapter he never thought he'd be forced to write. Claire stood on the steps behind him, crying softly, but he didn't turn back. For years, he had been the man who always looked back, who always tried to hold things together no matter how much they fell apart. Not anymore. Life didn't magically fix itself in the months that followed. There were lonely nights, mornings when he struggled to smile for Noah, and memories that returned like ghosts in the quiet hours. But slowly, brick by brick, he built a new life. He learned to cook meals for just himself and his son, to laugh without bitterness, to enjoy the peace of a home without lies. And one evening, as he watched Noah run across the yard, carefree and laughing in the golden light of sunset, Ethan finally understood. Betrayal had broken him, yes, but it had also freed him from a love that no longer loved him back. The wound would always leave its mark, but scars were proof of survival, not weakness. With that thought, he closed the door on the past for good. Claire's chapter in his story had ended, and ahead of him stretched blank pages, waiting for him to write a new life. One built on truth, loyalty, and a kind of love that would never need to hide in the shadows. That was the end, not of Ethan, but the man who lived blind to lies. What remained was someone stronger, wiser, and ready to face whatever came next.